How's it going? Welcome to Authentic City's online worship experience. Man, I am so glad that you guys are here, ready to worship with you guys. Truthfully, guys, I miss you guys with all of my heart. I miss being in a room with you guys and being able to worship with you guys. But here's the really cool thing, is that we serve a God who sent his son Jesus, who is the good shepherd, the one who lays down his life for his sheep. He is the shepherd that knows you. He's the one that cares for you. And so wherever you are right now, you may feel like I'm lonely. You may feel like there's no one around me, but Jesus is with you. And so let us worship him with everything that we have, knowing he is the good shepherd.
to stand on, that we fear no evil. Our God moves. He's done it before. Won't he do it again? Won't he move? Won't he provide? Won't he heal? Won't he save? Won't he pour out? Won't he move? But not later. Not in 10 years. Not even in 10 seconds. I'm believing it right now over your life that there is a move of God flooding and shifting things, that things are breaking apart that have been holding on for so long. And so I declare right now over every person watching or who will watch in Jesus' name that now is your time, that it's happening, that it's being released, that it's being unfolded, that it's being given, that it's being shared to you. And now what's coming upon you for you to take and for you to pour out into someone else will be like never before. And so let's shout this together. Do it now, God. Do it now. You're a now God. You're a right now God. So we thank you. We praise you. We trust you. And we know you'll move. We have faith in you. You're the good shepherd. You are the Almighty. So we praise your name. We lift it up, God. For you are holy. You are set apart. We see it. It's happening now. We're speaking it. Do it now, God. Would you move, God?
This is the sound of dry bones rattling. And this is the praise, make a dead man walk again. Open the grave and open the grave. I'm coming out, I'm gonna live again. Open the grave, I'm coming out, I'm gonna live again. Open the grave, I'm coming out, I'm gonna live again. This is the praise, make a dead man walk again. And open the grave, I'm coming out, I'm gonna live again. Open the grave, I'm coming out, I'm gonna live again. Open the grave, I'm coming out, I'm gonna live again. This is the sound of dry bones rattling. We've seen you move the mountains, and we believe we'll see you do it again. You made a way when there was no way, and we believe we'll see you do it again.
Welcome, Authentic City Church family. I am so excited to be with you today. You know, today is the day for you to encounter the Lord. Today is the greatest day, just like any other day, for you to be so intentional and expectant for the move of God in your life. You know, I have been so loving the collection that we have been in, I Am Miracles. Yeah. It has been really opening my eyes to how intentional Jesus is with everything that he does, with the miracles that he performs, but also with the truth that he drops. Y'all, this collection has probably been one of my favorites, and I want to know which message you have loved the most. I'm going to tell you my favorite so far was last week when Pastor Mac preached on the miracle at the pool of Bethesda. It was so powerful, babe. I loved it. I'm going to drop one of those, like, it's either like the ocean emoji or like the water drop emoji. What about you, babe?
Yeah. So coming in, let's see, I'm going to drop not the beard emoji. That's what you would think I would drop. I'm going to drop the bread emoji because this girl right here for the Mother's Day, bread of life, bread is life, and because last Sunday my mom made homemade rolls. Yeah. And so just bread is just all over the place. So I'm dropping the bread emoji. But like she said, the intentionality that Jesus has as he's moving throughout and as it's being recorded in this book that we're studying is so incredible. And I'm looking forward to connecting these pieces as Jesus teaches about the man blind from birth and makes the same statement, I am the light of the world. And so as we bring these two together, it's going to be so exciting.
We felt that there was such a great connection between these two passages. Not only do we want to preach together, we want to preach them together today for you. So I am praying that it blesses you today.
That's right. So you're not just getting a miracle or an I am statement. You are getting double for your money today, all right? Don't walk away empty-handed. This is double trouble. This is about to change your life. It's going to be good. Double trouble in the message, double trouble in us. I'm looking forward to it and excited about it. So I'll say it's Today's message is double for your money, like when your wife takes you to Target and she's like, I just got to get a few things. But like, no, she does not have to get a few things. Like, you get halfway through the trip and the cart is all the way full. And you realize the whole time she was plotting and planning this, the intentionality of dragging me to Target for my money, it was truly double trouble. So I'm hoping that's the experience. You come in to the online experience today thinking, you know what, I'm just going to get a few things out of this. But you leave, spiritually speaking, with a whole shopping cart full of everything you need this week. I'm believing that. Target analogy, it's real.
It's real. That happened this past week.
She knows.
So it's
Yep.
very real. So let's go
So
ahead
if you got a loan,
and
I need a loan. I need a loan.
You need a loan? No, it wasn't that serious, babe. Okay, no, but for real, let's jump right in. If you have your Bible, turn with me to John chapter 8, verse 12, and we are going to start with the I am statement, so I hope you're ready. Hope you're taking notes.
Yeah.
This is what Jesus said. Again, Jesus spoke to them, saying, I am the light of the world. Whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of life.
That's good.
Did you know that when Jesus brought this statement to the people, he was in the temple? And not only that, it was right smack dab in the middle of the festival of lights. Yeah. How appropriate, Jesus, that you would bring this I am the light of the world in the middle where the whole town was getting ready, the city of Jerusalem. They were lighting up the city as a symbol and a promise of what God had promised the coming Messiah would come. And here's Jesus as the coming Messiah saying, I am the light of the world. And just like he did then, he does that with us now. He uses things that we are so accustomed to, like lights and things all around us, and he uses them to teach us things about him that we may not know yet. So what I love is that he does that. But unfortunately, guys, the Israelites didn't quite see it fully. They were blinded by the festival that they missed and they just so missed what Jesus was trying to reveal to them.
Right.
And so my question for us today is, are we so focused and so into our traditions that we are missing out on what Jesus is trying to reveal to us?
That's good.
So my prayer for us as believers and as pastors is that we begin to stop trying to do things out of habit, trying to stop doing things out of just the old, just because we've always done it, and begin to really step into saying, okay, God, you have brought this here right now, Jesus. Begin to reveal to me what you truly have for your children. So, babe?
Yeah. I think when she's talking, saying that the traditions end up trumping what Jesus is trying to do in our life, I'm saying let's go ahead right now, just spiritually speaking, and reach in and grab Jesus out of the box we've tried to place him in, because he has no place inside any box or inside any format or to be trapped in any kind of city. He's bigger, he's greater, his vision is bigger, and we want that for your life. We want to see Jesus not just be a tradition, but to be the movement taking place in every single area. And this is what he's preaching. He's saying it to all the people around him. He's saying, I am the light of the world. And they're looking and seeing just natural lights, and they're forgetting about the supernatural light of Jesus that's taking place. So here's what I want to do. I want to turn us from that place when Jesus is preaching, speaking, telling everyone with his words that he's the light of the world. I want to bring us to the moments that happen right around the same time where he takes a man who's blind from birth and he gives him eyesight. And I want to bring us into that part of the story. So let me take you to chapter 9, starting in verse 3 is where we're going to be reading. And what I want you to know is that they're moving through the city. They're moving through the same city. Jesus is there with his disciples, and they see a blind man, and the disciples ask him, hey, Jesus, tell us about the situation of this blind man. Is he blind because he sinned? Like, what's going on? Why is he blind? And so Jesus responds in verse 3, and he says, it's not that this man sinned or that his parents sinned, but that the works of God might be displayed in him. We must work the works of him who sent me while it's day. Night is coming when no one can work. As long as I am in the world, I am the light of the world. And so again, he's bridging this same conversation into what's happening in this moment. He's saying there's coming a time when we won't be able to do the works. But for now, I want us to embrace the fact that Jesus is the light of the world. And it's not because of sin or because of any reason that this person is blind, but that so that the glory of God might be displayed. So here's what I want to do. I want to help us understand and bridge even better this connection between our eyes and this blindness that we're talking about in the story, the man blind from birth, and Jesus' statement about light and being the light of the world. So to help us not just understand it a spiritual perspective, I want us to understand a medical perspective. So I'm going to bring in Dr. Colston to give us a quick medical perspective on the eyes and light.
Hey there, Authentic City Church. My name is Dr. Ben Colston. I'm an optometrist in Mansfield, Texas at Eyes on Broad. And I'm going to break down the connection, the biological connection between light and vision. So starts off, there's an object, and that object is emitting light rays. The light rays travel through the cornea and then to the lens, through the vitreous, and then to the retina. The retina is the most important part. It contains photoreceptor cells, which actually have Pastor Mac's OCT scans. I'm going to show you. These are Pastor Mac's photoreceptor cells right here. And they are responsible for phototransduction, which is a process that takes light, transmits it into an electrical signal that the brain then interprets, and we can tell, then the brain tells us this is an object, it's blue, and it's moving. So there are a few ways in real life where if light is not getting to the retina, that can really cause a problem. One kind of common example is a cataract, and that's where the lens of the eye becomes yellow and cloudy, and light does not pass through the lens. It gets blocked, so light doesn't get to the retina, and that causes essentially blindness over time if the lens is not removed and a new fresh lens is put in there. That is the big correlation between light and vision. Bottom line is, without light getting to the retina, vision, seeing, it doesn't happen. So hopefully that kind of summarized it for you. Back to you, Pastors Mac and Liseth.
Thank you so much, Dr. Colston, for that. I love to learn how incredible God has made his children. But you know what I love even more? That even before we had any medical understanding, Jesus knew exactly what the connection was.
Wow, that's good. Yeah, we didn't know the light was connected to the eye, but he knew. And even without teaching us that concept, he's teaching on that concept, which is so incredible. So jumping back in, I want us to look. We looked at verse 3. I want us to look now at verse 6. So Jesus identifies the man. Having said these things about what's going on in verse 6, it says, he spit on the ground. I'm not going to do it. He spit on the ground. Maybe I will. I don't know. He spit on the ground, and he made mud with saliva. Okay, come on. I'd be praying for people. They'd be coming down to the front. I'd be anointing them with the Holy Ghost oil. Can you imagine if you came down to the front and I said, oh, I'm ready for your miracle right now. And I just spit all over my hands. I just rubbed them all together. I put some dirt up in it, and then I wanted to lay hands with that on you. You would be like, no thanks. I'm going to try to find somebody else. There's some other churches down the road, you know. I'm going to try something else, you know. I'm maybe the not so authentic. Okay, oh, hey. You know, it's like, this is what he did. He spit in the dirt. He rubbed it in his hands, and he anointed, not wiped, anointed the man's eyes with this now made mud. And then he told the man, go wash in the pool. The pool was called Sint. The man goes and washes in the pool, and he comes back, read it in verse 7, seeing. He comes back healed in that moment. He went from blind his entire life to now seeing because of a move that Jesus did in his life. He went from blind to seeing, from blind to seeing. I hope you're getting it. You should be hearing a miracle right now. You should be standing up on your feet saying, my God is a miracle working God. He is the great I am, because he takes what was blind in every sense, both physical and spiritual and emotional, and he gives it vision like nothing else can have. And he did this right here in this moment. I'm getting too worked up. I got to calm it down now.
And right after he is healed, you would think everyone around him would have this reaction.
Right, be like, cheering.
Yes, this man that has never seen before can finally see.
Right.
But did you know what the reactions from the religious leaders? it wasn't excitement.
Right.
It wasn't rejoicing with this man. It was one of anger and one of panic. This threw the religious leaders into panic.
Right.
One, it threw them into panic because this happened on a Sabbath.
Once again.
Of course.
Come
I'm
on,
like,
Jesus.
Of course
What you
would
thinking?
do it on a Sabbath, man. He just wants to totally destroy everything that we think we can put all together and have all perfect. And he says, I'm not about that.
Yeah.
I'm not about what you've set up. I'm about your heart. So he comes in and he is making mud. So this mud illustration is actually really significant because on the Sabbath, if you had to spit, you could not spit on the dirt. You had to spit on a rock because if you spit on the dirt, you were breaking the Sabbath. So Jesus knew that. So he was so intentional to say, I'm here to break your rules. The next thing he came to do is we knew that the religious leaders only the coming Messiah, so they knew that only the coming Messiah could heal a man blind from birth. So miracles did happen, and the religious leaders did cast out demons, and they did pray for the sick, and they did all these things. But everybody knew only the Messiah could heal a man blind from birth. And guess what Jesus did? He came up in the spot and healed this man. So not only was he coming to break their rules, he was coming to shatter their predictions. He came in and said, I'm not here to meet your expectations of what the coming Messiah is going to look like. This is it. I am he. And so many times in our lives, we have predictions and expectations of what our life is supposed to look like, what the next day is going to bring, what 5 years will bring. But let me tell you what, when Jesus comes in and breaks down those expectations and those predictions, it is not because he's trying to hurt you. It's because he doesn't want you to be so full of what you want. He wants to cause his will to move through you. So he came in and he broke their rules. He came in and he shattered their predictions. And the third thing that he did, he came in and he disturbed the natural order. He threatened the religious leaders. He said, I want your power. This power that you think you have, I want to take it to the ground because there's only one and one alone that has full power, and that is Jesus Christ. So I love that Jesus came in and said, no, guys, I'm going to totally flip the script, and I'm going to totally destroy all your expectations of what you think should happen, and here you go. Deal with this. So the religious leaders were like, okay, we can't do this. So what they began to do is they began to question the parents of the man that was born blind from birth and now is healed. And they said, okay, who did this? And the parents were so afraid because earlier the religious leaders had announced that if anybody comes in and claims to follow Jesus, they would be thrown out of the church. And this is not just like, okay, you're thrown out from this church, go to another one. That meant thrown out from their community and their society, and they would be total outcasts.
It wasn't just that, oh, let's find a new church. It really was, we don't have a place. The church was even the protection from just the Romans that were around and the outside forces. And so to speak towards Jesus was to speak against everything their parents had grown up in. And so the parents say, oh, they just kind of play dumb and dodge the question. But eventually the religious leaders get to the man who was actually healed, and he knows what happened. He's not dodging any questions, and his life has been changed. And so he's willing to take whatever risk needs to be taken. And so when they said to him, hey, what happened? He speaks the truth. He tells them. He's not trying to step around and make sure he doesn't step on any toes. He just speaks it like it is. And I think many times for us, if we would just own what God has done in our life, that we were old and now he made us new, that guess what, we used to be in bondage, but now we're not. Yes, pornography had a hold, but now it doesn't, and drinking did, but now it don't, and relationships used to drive me, but now my faith drives. I mean, just own where we are, but also own the move of God that he has in our life. All of a sudden, we begin to see this greater move begin to take place. So here's what I want to share is as we're seeing this I am statement, I am the light of the world, and we're seeing this miraculous healing of the man blind from birth, I want to remind us of two things. And the first one is that a move of God might cost you something in your life. We want to move with God. God, bring revival, but don't change the time I have to wake up in the morning. God, bring revival, but make sure I'm always getting paid more and never getting paid less. God, bring revival, but don't disturb my friend groups. Here's the thing. This man, when he said that Jesus had touched him and made him clean, when he said that he had touched him and made him have vision, when he spoke that, he knew that all of his community was gone. all the people that had helped him walk around because he was blind, that had poured into his life, that had guided him, his own parents who had given a different answer, he knew that he had threatened and drawn the line in the sand with all that, saying, you know what, if all that gets cut off, I'm okay because I've seen now, literally, I've seen now what God can do. I've seen now this Jesus is the Messiah. And so he says, here's the deal. A move of God is worth it to cost something in my life. And I want that same attitude for us. I want the same attitude for us to say, come on, God, move in however you move and do whatever you got to do and make it cost whatever it has to cost. I want to be with you. I want to see what you see. Amen. I want to see how you're working. A move of God might cost you something in your life. The second thing I want you to know is that when God gives us vision, you can't unsee what he shows you. When he gives you vision, you can't unsee what he shows you. When he's beginning to birth a passion inside of you for the hurting and for the lost or for the homeless or for the single moms, when he begins to birth a passion inside of you like that, you don't unsee that kind of passion. When he begins to make a move happen inside of you, you don't unsee it. When God opens up your eyes, you can't unsee it. Even the religious leaders, they saw it. Read the text and go and see. They saw it. But they kept living how they were living before. And when God opens up our eyes, even now as he's speaking to you in this moment, and he's opening up inside of you things that you never knew and you never heard and giving you fresh revelation this week, I want you to know you can try to run from that all if you want. You can try to get away from it. You can try to close your eyes, but you can't close your eyes forever because you can't unsee what God shows you. And God is a God that is continually bringing more and more vision, bringing more and more to see in your life, bringing freshness and newness and renewing and making everything crisp and clear over and over again.
That's right. When God moves in our life and he begins to give us this vision that others can't see yet, when he begins to do that, what he's doing, he's including us.
Come on, that's good.
He's including us into who he is,
right.
And he's including us into what his work represents. So look at this as a privilege, as a way for you to see that he has not just said, I am the light of the world. He now has made a way to include you into this I am statement. You see, Matthew 5:14, he says, well, you know what he says about you and I? What? He says, we are the lights of the world. He has gone from I am the light of the world to you are the light of the world. And then after that, he says, a city on a hill cannot be hidden. Which after learning all of this about the Festival of Lights, I'm like, yes, Jesus, like put it all together. Connect it like you do. You're so incredible. Because to me, I'm like all along, he was like, y'all making it about the physical city with the physical lights. And what I'm telling you is the city is the people and the lights is your life. He is telling us we are that light. And when he opened up that I am statement to you and I as the light of the world, and then he healed that blind man, he's connecting us together as the light. At his light.
So to see it today and do nothing would be terrible. It would be the opposite of what the church is meant and called to do. Everything you were destined to do was to be a city on a hill set up to shine as bright as you can. Through the power and glory of Christ. It's him. He is the light shining through us, right? But it's to shine, and we continually want to hide it and put a basket over it and to be hidden and to not be known and to not be out there and to not be vulnerable and to not be put in a place where we may mess up or we may fall. It's like, no, we have to now act upon the fact that there is dark areas all in our city, in your job, in your family, in your relationships, and you're the light that needs to be shining into every single one of those areas this week. And so I know it. Here's the thing. We can do it. That's the thing. You don't have to be something different than you already are. You just have to stand up and say, okay, God, I'll shine for you. I'll be the light. You said you were the light of the world. You put me up on the city, on top of a hill to say the light will go bright. You showed me what the miracles look like. You taught us how to pray. You gave us the New and Old Testament to know your heart and who you were and your character and our relationship with you. So let's go and do it this week. Let's go and be it this week. We love you guys. We're praying for you, and we're believing that you will not unsee what you've seen and heard today by Jesus Christ.
Thanks so much for joining today. We love you guys, and we so appreciate that you have been such a part of what God is doing through Authentic City Church.
That's right. There is so much life still happening. Church is not on hold. We are not on pause. God is moving and working, and it's not just happening here, but all over the globe. I know you're seeing it. Stay connected with us during the week, and let's make sure we're putting the things that should be priority in our life as the priorities. I want to encourage you now. Go to authentic.church, go to the Give tab, hit the Give tab, make tithing a priority in your life. Go to Venmo, give on Venmo, but don't let these things slide, because this is what holds our life in balance, is keeping God in the right place and us in the right place and serving Him all during the week, not just on a weekend. We love you guys, and we can't wait to see you all throughout this week.